Welcome to the Listening Platform, where we slow down, reflect, and ease into meaningful conversation with ourselves. I am Guru Subramanian Swaminathan, a coach for life. In this space, we are embarking on a journey to listen deeply to the stories of ordinary people living extraordinary moments. Because I strongly believe that moments become memories with just a dose of intention. So take a deep breath, lean in, let's listen now. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Listening Platform. Thanks for tuning in again. My guest today leads not just one life, but three, but all at once. Dr. Annathurai Gnanasambandam is a scientist, is a migration advisor, and also a writer, living three parallel lives, each pursued with clarity and also with intention. He works full-time as an R&D trait lead at a global agricultural company, where he focuses on crop improvement and also genetic innovation. Alongside, he also manages immigration companies supporting individuals and also families through complex process of migrating to Australia. And in his third, he's a writer who has already published scientific journals and also in Tamil magazines like Annathurai Gnanasambandam and Junior Vigadan. He is now working on his first and full-length book inspired by the lessons life has offered him across continents, careers, and quiet turning points. His story is very interesting. His story began with an unexpected twist. As a baby, he was given away to his childless relative but later returned to his biological parents. That early turning point, though not remembered by everyone, profoundly shaped his life. Raised by a father who valued empathy over achievement, supported by mother and siblings who offered love and strength, he grew up with a deep sense of humility, purpose, and gratitude. He studied at 6 universities in 3 continents over the 13 years and migrated to Australia almost 3 decades back. He has raised 2 remarkable children, one just completed medicine and another one in law. Over the years, he has quietly transformed lives through mentorship, migration support, and deeply human connections. But today, instead of just telling his story, we are going to unpack 10 life messages he has drawn from it, practical, personal, and sometimes surprising. Lessons on failure, parenting, second chances, service, and purpose. I'm sure you're going to get 100% benefit of your time listening to this. Let's welcome Anna. Welcome, Anna. Thank you for doing this podcast with us. I'm sure it's going to be a great podcast.
Thank you, Guru, for the warm introduction. As you know, I delayed it for a few months because I wanted to come up with some of the messages that I have learned over the years. My PhD supervisor, Professor Robert Birch, is very particular about the take-home messages. Every communication should be very clear with the take-home messages that we want to give the audience. That's why it took some time for me to come up with these 10 messages, and I'm hopeful at least one of them will be useful for at least one of the listeners.
Okay, for sure.
If we achieve that, I will be very happy with what we have done today.
Thank you so much, Anna. I know we started from somewhere around July. We have been speaking, and I also implemented couple of your suggestions in my previous podcast. Thank you. So now let's begin with the first of your 10 life messages. One you always mention, it is simple and also powerful. You normally say, right, help one person, not just through money, but with support and guidance and clarity. If we extrapolate this, like if each of us do this as a success to reach their dream, and the whole world improves. Now, where did this message you learned from, and is there any moment you saw this in action?
Yeah, this message of helping one person to achieve their ambition, whatever their ambition may be, was given to me by the Annathurai editor, Mr. S. Balasubramanian, in 1993. Before I went to UK to pursue my higher studies with a scholarship, I was given the opportunity to meet him in his office. After talking to me for a few minutes, and he said, once you settle in your life, try to help at least one person to achieve their ambition, whatever their ambition may be. He said, I'm not talking about money. It can be by guidance or support or belief, but try to help one person to achieve their ambition. And if we can do that, and if each one of us can do that, the whole world will improve. At the time, I was only 25. And so that message stayed with me for a very long time till now. I can visualize the way that he told even now. After I came to Australia in 96, and then I finished my PhD. And then in 2005, I was helping my nephew, Arun. to apply for scholarships. He's a really good student. He was a gold medalist in his bachelor's, but still we were not sure whether he will be able to get a scholarship, because getting a scholarship is very, very difficult. And we applied to 15 universities, and he was fortunate enough to get 5 full scholarships.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah, that was totally unexpected. He chose a program in computer vision and robotics and went to UK to pursue his master's. That unexpected result gave me some kind of confidence, and I thought that I will be able to help students to get scholarships. So I started a small initiative called Abroad Plan Consultancy.
Abroad Plan Consultancy.
Yes. In the first year, 3 people got the scholarship, and 2 of them went to Europe to pursue their masters. One of them, who is now a research fellow at the in UK. He wrote a blog called Dreams Come True about his experience. And after that, I started getting a lot of inquiries from students asking for specific scholarship in specific universities in specific country. So for example, I want a PhD scholarship in immunology in Japan. And I realized that it's not sustainable to find scholarships for specific countries on a specific topic. And during my graduate certificate in management, I did a course called Marketing Management, where we learned that we need to be coming up with a product or a service that is unique, that is sustainable. That's where I felt like the Australian permanent residency or Australian visas can be a service or product that can be that is sustainable. So that's why I took a step back and then went and studied Australian graduate certificate in migration law and practice. That's how I started the immigration company. And over the last 15 years, I was able to help a lot of professionals and families to achieve their ambition, their Australian ambition. If I want to give the same message, what the Vigadan editor gave it to me, that I would encourage every one of you to help at least one person to achieve their ambition, whatever their ambition may be. Help them with the guidance or support or belief. And if each one of us can do that, the whole world will improve.
Thank you, Anna. That's really powerful. There are 2 things which is coming to my mind. First is when you say about help one person to achieve their ambition. I think even for my college, like I did my Master of Computer Applications in Coimbatore, PhD CAS. I was the last person to get into that college, like 24th person basically. But we didn't have the right cash to do the deposit. And I still remember Dr. Valliyappan in PhD college. He said, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to fund you to start with, and then you can repay me in a week or so. That really gave me the opening for doing the MCA in Coimbatore. Thank you so much. And one more thing, you mentioned about the last 15 years, people getting benefit because you started Visa, and I'm one of the beneficiary of that. So just for the audience purpose. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anna, for the first message. Let's move on to the next one. Second message, encourage your children to fail safely and purposefully. Now, your second message might be surprising a lot of parents, because we are all normally very, very overprotective, unlike our parents. So it is especially relevant in today's pressure-filled parenting world. You say that encourage your children to fail safely and purposefully, because failure builds humility, empathy, and resilience. Success without resilience is very, very fragile. Now, how did you learn about this? Who taught you this in your family, and what's the impact you have seen in your children?
Yeah, this is a powerful one, and I think a lot of parents will not be imagining that happened in my family. And so the message came from my dad. And my dad is a very simple person. He's not a typical Indian parent, completely different to all the other Indian parents, I can say. During my primary school, I used to come consistently the first rank in my class. He used to ask me to come second rank at least once, and then he will be explaining that think about the parents of the child who is consistently coming second. They just want to get at least once the first rank, and so think about the joy that they can get. He was putting more emphasis on the empathy rather than the achievement. And from year 6, I started getting the first and second rank because there was a really good student. And during my I think year 8, he started asking me to fail in one of the subjects. That was really surprising, because no parent will ask anyone to fail in one subject. The reason he was giving was that you need to know how the world treats you when you fail. Getting successful outcome all the time, the world will treat you differently. As soon as you fail once, the world will treat you completely differently. So he wanted me to experience how your friends or how your classmates and how the teachers will behave when you
if you fail. Okay.
And during exams, just before the exam, I will start preparing, and then he will come and say like, there is a really good movie in the theater, go and watch it.
Okay.
He never asked me to study even once in his life, and he never worried about what rank I got and what marks I got.
Okay.
But he was always asking me to take a step back and relax rather than studying really hard.
Okay.
He was thinking that studying overnight to get a few extra marks is not worth it. It's better to get good night's sleep and then go and write whatever you get.
Okay.
So that helped me a lot in my life, basically. During my bachelor's, I didn't worry about my grades. Probably I came in the first 10 ranks, but I went into the extracurricular activities. I became the leader for the Social Service League, and I became the leader for the Students Club, which is like a student chairman in other colleges. And then I became the Vigilance reporter, a student reporter. Those experiences made me a different person. But if you think about it, one of the interesting part was that when I went for my MPhil at the University of Birmingham, the score that I got was the highest in the Faculty of Science, not just in my department. I was given a Radcliffe Prize for securing the highest mark in the Faculty of Science. What I was trying to say was that when parents are not putting the pressure, still you perform. So you are not performing based on the parents'
expectation.
The other point that I will say is that you have mentioned that I have spent 13 years in 6 universities. That was because my dad never asked me to study even once. Because I'm interested in learning. I'm not interested in getting marks or performing.
Got it.
So I would say that my father was the main reason that gave me the freedom to explore a lot of things without worrying about the failure. I was able to do a lot of things.
Okay.
So I would suggest for the parents the same message that try to allow your kids to stumble or fail, and ask them that they will be loved for who they are, not for their marks or not for their ranks.
Okay.
We hear a lot of tragic stories where the kids take irreversible decisions when they fail in one of the exams. I have heard a lot of stories in Australia as well. And there is absolutely nothing you can do to bring them back. But the main reason is that as parents, we have not told them that they will be loved for who they are rather than their marks. So I used to tell my kids that they can fail in any subjects, or they can repeat the year. It doesn't matter. Overall, they will be fine. I approached my kids with the same philosophy my dad did. Okay. Whenever they come up with the A grade, I will say like there are other alphabets in English. B, C, D, and E.
Explore that.
You should not discriminate those ones. So whenever they got B or C, they know that's not going to change my love or my affection towards them.
Okay.
My daughter chose medicine, and my son chose law. Okay. And we didn't push them to choose anything, so they went on their own. But the reason for that was that I was not asking them to get a particular grade. I was asking them to get the B grade or C grade, and so encouraging them to fail or stumble. And one of the things with the Phil Knight's Shoe Dog book I really liked was that he always said he wanted to fail fast. Any business or anywhere, if you're really ready to fail, you will succeed. That's my message, really.
Thank you, Anna. You say that celebrate your loved ones when they are alive, and say the beautiful things now, not just at their funeral. Let's hear from Anna, his experiences and what it means when it comes to grief and gratitude, and how do you want to put this practice in your family?
So this message is based on the loss in my family. When I went to UK, my mother came to the airport to send me off in September. By November, she passed away within 2.5 months. And my family took the difficult decision not to inform me because I was in a new country and I was alone, and they felt like I might come back without pursuing my studies. I came to know only after 2 days, after everything was finished.
Okay.
The following 10 days, where I will say that was the darkest days in my life, but there were friends who helped me a lot during the time. I was feeling very guilty because when I was young, I helped my mother a lot in the kitchen. Okay. I will do everything basically, and then she used to joke to anyone who comes home. She will say like he should have been born as a daughter.
Okay.
So because I used to do so much work for her. Yeah. But as a student, I felt like I didn't do everything because I couldn't, because I was just concentrating on my studies. So that was really a painful reminder that you should tell or you should do something to your parents or any loved ones when they are alive. So I took that as an important message. So I decided that I should not do that same mistake to my dad. When my dad came for my PhD graduation in 2002, I asked him to write his autobiography, and he wrote that. And then for his 80th birthday, I made a surprise visit. And for his 90th birthday, we organized a celebration of event, one full day. It's something like how we celebrate a wedding. We went fully prepared, and then we gave speeches about what we wanted to tell him. And it's about his life, and everyone said thanks, expressed our gratitude to him. He was really moved by that function. But we lost him during COVID, and we couldn't travel. There was sadness, but no regrets, because whatever we wanted to tell him when he was alive, we told him. So he knows exactly how we felt. And so that's what I'm giving the audience as a message. You need to tell your parents or anyone, any loved ones, you need to tell them what you want to tell them now, not after, not tomorrow or later. And one of the things I will suggest is to organize a function similar to the wedding or any other function. Organize a function for your parents and then tell them how you felt, how grateful you are for them. That will be the best thing that you have ever done for your parents or loved ones.
Thank you, Anna. I'm here in Australia for the last 9 years, actually, 10 years almost. I have never known about funerals, etc. here, not exposed. But a couple of years back, as part of my regular consulting work, I did work with one of the funeral big company, and then that's where I came to know about many things which is just happening, what's happening here and things like that, and sort of like a memorials, crematoriums, plus the multimedia which is getting arranged after the person has passed away, during the funeral and things like that. Thanks for sharing that. Let's move on to the next one. Record your parents and grandparents' stories. Now, what did this message, or how did this message become very personal to you, and what moment or experience you want to share with us? Why do you want to preserve these stories?
Yeah, so basically our parents' life, they have gone through a lot. My father, for example, he was born in 1926. So he was born before independence for India. How much sacrifice they have done, what are all the things that they have gone through, we have absolutely no idea. We don't ask them, and then they don't tell.
Correct.
So the only way that we can record them is to ask them what's the experience that they went through. So as I mentioned before, when my dad came for my PhD graduation, I asked him to write the autobiography. The idea was that he will write about his parents and grandparents and his life, and then one of us in our generation, at least, either my elder sister or myself, we will write for this generation. There will be one person writing from the next generation, and then we will give that as digital copies to the next generation. And if even one of them can continue that, it can go for a few generations.
Absolutely.
And then it will be easier to trace back and where everything started. So in my opinion, the most important gift that you can give to your children or grandchildren is not the property or money, it's the wisdom of your parents or grandparents. People take photos of the food that they are eating, record everything that they're doing, taking selfies, but they don't ask the parents or the elders, like how was their experience, what did they experience when they were 20. So it's very easy for us to make video recording now. So you just have to press the record button, ask the question like what was the life for you when you were 20, what are all the darkest days in your life, how did you survive difficult days. You can ask anything and record it. With the artificial intelligence and the technology, you may be able to recreate them in the future.
That's correct.
So that they can talk to your great grandchildren
directly.
Yes. So it's better to record them now. Once they are gone, there is absolutely no way that you can get them back. But if they are not alive and if they are not here now, you can talk to their siblings or their friends or cousins and collect as much information as possible, so that you can at least give it to your children.
Correct. Pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah, pass on to the next generation. If at some stage the next generation is not passing on, that's okay, but at least we should do whatever we can at the moment. So that's where we are publishing my dad's autobiography. next month. That's why I'm going to India.
Okay.
Because it's 100th birthday remembrance
For
my dad.
father. Okay.
He wrote around 120 pages. We are adding his pictures from young age and everything, and then we are publishing privately. So that's a function that I'm going to attend. I would suggest the audience to record their parents or loved ones' stories now.
Thank you. Your fifth message is very, very liberating. It's very easy to say, but I'm not sure how many are going to practice this. Let's go through that. You say that is apply boldly and detach from the outcome. Your job is to apply, and their job is to select. Don't carry their job on your shoulders. How did you learn this mindset? We have been discussing for quite some time now. I have seen you practicing it. And then how it has shaped your journey through either it is scholarships or jobs or opportunities.
Yeah, this is one of the interesting one. I got it from my mentor in the Annathurai Gnanasambandam.
Okay.
Again, his name is Mr. B. Ilangovan. He got outstanding in the Vigadan training program.
Okay.
And he's a deep thinker and very good communicator. I wrote a letter to him because I was disappointed that one of the articles that I worked really hard was not published in Vigadan. And then he wrote back saying that Vigadan is a private organization and they decide what they want to publish. So if I want to publish whatever I write, I need to start my own magazine. And then he said, like, you write one article and then post it and forget about it. And if it gets published, you'll be happy about it. If it doesn't, you are already focusing on the next one, so you don't need to worry about it. Then I started a personal slogan that applying is my job, selection is their job, and I don't worry about their job.
Okay.
And then I applied it consistently for my scholarships and for my jobs. I will just apply.
Okay.
If I can give an example, like to apply for the scholarships, getting even one scholarship is very, very difficult. I got the scholarship from the University of Saskatchewan for my masters. At the same time, I got the scholarship from the University of Birmingham. So that's where I went to University of Birmingham. I also got 2 scholarships from India, tuition-free scholarships, just for travel and other things. And then for my PhD, I got a scholarship from my University of Toronto in Canada, University of Melbourne, and University of Queensland. So that's how I came to University of Queensland. And for jobs, I again apply without even thinking where it is. To give an example, in 2010, I applied for a job in Horsham. I didn't know where Horsham was. When I got the interview to come in person, I realized that it is 300 kilometers from Melbourne. And with 20,000 people. And then I went for the interview, got the job. And I spent 6 years there. That changed my life a lot because raising children in a small town is really a good thing. But now I'm back in Horsham. So
where you started first.
If I have filtered out by looking at where the Horsham is and whether I'm going to go or anything like that, I would not have applied. So I will say just apply. And then if you get the position or if you get the scholarship, then worry about whether you want to take it or not. Rather than just filtering out ourselves from the competition, you need to go into the competition and then try to see whether you can get it or not. Another example is that the University of Birmingham, there is only one scholarship for all developing countries for all subjects. When I applied, absolutely there is no hope that I can get it.
There's a lot of competition, right?
Yeah, but I got it. So that's what I'm trying to say, that when you're applying, don't filter yourself that you may not be successful. Just apply and then see what happens. It's their job to select, and you don't need to worry about what they do. What you can do is apply. So whether it is for love or relationship or jobs or scholarship, apply.
Full effort and apply. Yeah. Thank you so much, Anna. The next one is about boundaries. You mentioned, right? So choose your moments to say no. And every yes should protect your energy and long-term purpose, actually. And I personally also felt that saying no is really, really hard. Especially when it's like we might disappoint someone. Now, how did you learn to say no with purpose, and has it helped you to protect your energy? Yeah,
so I learned it from my PhD supervisor, Professor Robert Birch. He was the one who taught me the importance of saying no. If you're not saying no, what happens is that we burn out, or we don't do things that are important to us. Every yes we say, we are automatically saying no to something else.
Correct.
That's where the problem comes. And I can quote one of the saying by Naval Ravikant. He said, desire is a self-made contract. Desire is a contract that you make it to yourself to be unhappy until it is fulfilled.
Okay.
So once you fulfill one of the desires, you start with another desire. So is your desire to please everyone, or is your desire to achieve something? So the question is, if you want to focus on something, then your desire should not be pleasing everyone, because you cannot please everyone.
Correct.
So everyone has their own agenda.
Correct.
So you need to focus on what is important to you. But people will understand, the real friends will understand if you say no to them, because you won't be saying no for everything. But there are certain things you have to say no. So if you don't say no, then you are doing something wrong. There is another quote I will say is by Warren Buffett.
Okay.
He says that the difference between successful people and really successful people is the really successful people say no to almost everything.
All right. Okay.
So if you want to be a really successful person, you should start saying no to almost everything.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. I think when you say everyone and everything, right, I think that creates the word crowd basically, right? And that's something which you want to cover off. Next one is do something different from the crowd. I mean, we are all struggling to get our daily life going, and this message is like writing on the wall. I think you went for a 3 months solo trip, which is not like an escape, but it was like an awakening. That's what also. Why did you take this 3 month long trip? Where did you go, and what did it teach you basically about solitude, freedom, and did you design your life based on that afterwards?
Yeah, so I took the decision to go on a solo trip from Brisbane to Tasmania. I spent like 93 days traveling through Sydney and Melbourne and taking Geelong and Tasmania to Tasmania and come back to Brisbane. So around 4,500 kilometers.
Okay.
The trip was not about seeing places. It's about spending time thinking about my life, reflecting on what I need to do. During the trip, I read the book by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans called Designing Our Life. I was on Spirit of Tasmania for 12 hours, and then I finished the book on the day. And then I took one day to design my life, what I wanted to do with my life. That transformed my life, I will say. The point that I'm talking about, to think different from the crowd, is that I spent like $18,000 on this trip.
Okay, for a 3 months trip.
Yeah,
okay.
3 months trip. Most of the people will say like $18,000 you can travel around the world. Correct. Or you can travel to many countries rather than taking a trip within Australia. But it's not about going and seeing places, as I mentioned. It's about understanding yourself and trying to reflect on your life and then what is important, what is not. So those 3 months gave me clarity on what I wanted to do, and I'm much happier person with full clarity on my life.
Amazing.
That is one of the best decisions that I have taken in my life. There are two decisions that are really important in my life that I was very proud of. Okay. One is applying for the scholarships to go and study.
University of Birmingham.
Just I call it abroad project. So try instead of doing a PhD in India, I wanted to do a PhD outside India. Okay. So that's a decision that's different from the crowd as well. And the second one is taking a solo trip, road trip, rather than going on an international trip. So that's the difference.
Thank you. I think rather than just reading the book, I think you're trying to apply, and you did mention that you have designed your life. That's really inspiring. Thank you, Anna. Now we'll move on to the next sort of like help related. You have to select whom you help and help them fully, because you believe that meaningful service is intentional and it's not about helping everyone, not like helping like multiple people. It's like showing up for someone and help them fully. Now, has this message helped you to mentor people or select clients and offer guidance? Would you like to explain about it?
Yeah, so I select my clients for my immigration company as much as they select me.
Honestly, sorry to interrupt, but that was a shocker. When I learned that Anna said like I have selected you, I was like, what's happening here? Thanks, please.
In plant breeding, in my subject, we have a saying called rejection is a kind of selection. So if you reject what are all the things that you don't need, whatever that you are left with as the selection. So with my immigration company, I tried to come up with a lot of hurdles to identify whom I should reject. It's difficult for people to understand, but the main point is similar to the previous message that we have dealt with, saying no to certain things. So saying no to different projects, the projects that you don't want to work with, saying no to people that you don't want to work with, saying no to people that you don't want to be in friendship with. So a lot of things you have to say no. With the clients, when they come in, they come with a different idea about what a migration agent or what they are interested in. So the problem is that I'm trying to help people achieve their Australian ambition.
Correct.
And if they treat me as a migration agent, some of them will treat me like I'm paying you money
to do the work.
Yeah, you need to do the work for me. So that's where the problem comes. You need to be aligning with the client So they should be understanding that I'm trying to help them to achieve their ambition, and I'm their well-wisher. If they treat me like a migration agent, they are out. If they understand that I'm trying to help them to achieve their ambition, I'm part of their journey, then I will take them. That's where I'm very particular about selecting my clients. So it's and the point that I was making was that we cannot help everyone. And the first point that I was telling about, try to help one person to achieve their ambition. So I'm helping more than one.
That's
so
right.
that should be fine. So the difference for me is that I wanted to maintain on the quality rather than the quantity, and I'm not really trying to build a business where I have to build a palace or anything like that. I'm just trying to build a business where I feel that I have helped a lot of people.
Okay.
And so it's more about the service rather than about the money. That's where I will say that it's important to concentrate on few clients rather than many clients.
Thank you so much, Anna. I think your history and the record speaks for itself. It's like 100%. Whoever has applied has got their visa/PR or whatever is they have aspired for. And I think probably many of the clients who are going to watch this later, they know why they have been selected, and those who did not get selected, they will get the answers now actually. Now, I think probably this is the last question. So one is with respect to the many roles actually, right? You said that we all play many roles. Do your best in each actually, and that's your final message, which brings it all together. We all play many roles: son, father, brother, mentor, a friend. Try to do your best in each, because life is not measured by one particular role. Now, how do you want to reflect on these roles?
This is the message that I got it from my dad when he came for my PhD graduation. So I asked him how to live a life. So I used to ask him a lot of questions. As I said, he is a very simple person, but he read thousands and thousands of books, non-fiction books.
Okay.
And he will be correcting most of the books as well, and he will commenting on the books, and he will say on 20th page, the author contradicted. So we used to take the book and read what his comments are rather than reading the book. And he published 6 books. He studied in French medium, and then he studied Latin.
Okay.
He studied Tamil to become a Tamil teacher. And in his 80s, he learned Hindi.
Okay.
And in his 90s, he was learning Malayalam. He had a lot of wisdom. So I used to ask a lot of questions.
Okay.
And that's what I was telling before, you need to collect information from your parents or record those things.
Correct.
because there's so much information that they have got with experience. So I asked him, how to live life, and that's the message that he gave. And he said, you have many roles to play as a son, father, brother, spouse, colleague.
Correct.
You need to try to do the best in each role. You may not be perfect in each role, but you need to try to do your best. And if you do that, then it's fine.
Correct.
That's what he said. So that helped me a lot, because after that, I take each role and whether I have done my part correctly. As a son, for example, I have done whatever that I could to my dad. I have never argued with him. I gave 100% respect to him. As I mentioned before, we celebrated his life, and we asked his autobiography and all those things. I also sent him to France, where he lived for 3 years in 1950s. And Arun took care of the trip. And then he was so happy to go back and see the places where he lived 50 years back. Similarly, I try to do with my kids. For example, for their birthday, I put 400 slides of there, and then we go through the Zoom call and we record the call and then go through that. Each and every role, you try to do whatever you could. If you think about the role, whatever the role, and I ask the question, am I doing okay with this role?
Correct.
Then you will know the answer. It's like maintaining a garden. There will be a lot of flowering plants and perennial plants and annual plants, and you may not be looking after them at the same time, but you need to look after them differently.
Correct.
You need to give them different fertilizer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Anna, for all the messages. More than the messages, it's a story which is backing up each of your messages, right? That has been very, very meaningful for me, and I'm sure the audience also will resonate with that. And thanks for your intention with purpose, and also the gratitude you have shown in doing this entire podcast. Thank you so much for doing this, Anna.
Thank you, Guru, and thank you for everyone listening to this interview. I'm a simple person like my dad. I came up with these 10 messages based on my life experiences. Most of them may not be relevant to you, but even if you can take one message and help someone to achieve their ambition, whatever their ambition may be, we will be very happy with this interview. Thank you, Guru.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, everyone.
So, we have come on a full circle here, right? From helping one person rise to honoring all the roles we play. That's the 10 messages in that sequence. And these are all not just ideas from Anna. They were earned through years of living, helping, failing, and also learning continuously. If even one has resonated with you, we hope you take it to your own life and then apply it. And also, as Anna has said, it's not about changing the world overnight. It's about helping that one person who is in need and also rethinking one moment to be present there in your role. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.